In the last video in this series I said that in this video I'll be working on the electronics pack for the ASR33, but I've changed my mind and decided to address the keyboard first, primarily because this is where the bulk of the time is spent in restoring one of these machines. On average, when I do one of these keyboards, it takes about 25 hours of work. It only takes about an hour to deal with the mechanics and the electrical switches on these. The rest of the time is spent in reconditioning the keys, which I'll come back to in a minute. So this one's not too bad. Some of the encoder bars are fairly sticky. They're all moving. It's in much better condition in this respect than the previous one I worked on. But these do all need taking out and cleaning. There's a lot of fairly congealed grease on them, so that would need to be cleaned off, otherwise it will cause them to stick. Some of the encoder bars don't move as freely as they should, so again it's just a case of cleaning and lubricating them. And the rest of this is fine. I've checked all the switches and all the switches are in good order. The rockers on each side of this are also in good order. There's none broken, there's no tabs missing. So that's looking quite good. So that will be fairly easy to sort out. The guard just needs a really good clean and polish. It's really dirty, badly scratched, but it should polish up quite nicely. But as I said, most of the work is in the keys. I found a few of these with bent tabs on. Not quite sure how that's happened, but they're fairly easy to straighten out. And the way I go about this, I showed in the previous restoration series on an ASR33 how I go about, or in general how I go about cleaning the keys. But what I'm aiming to do is take a key that looks like this, so filthy, turning into chalk in effect, and I want to turn it into something that looks like this. So this is obviously one that I've already completed. But of course there's quite a lot of work in doing these, and there's quite a few keys, so it does take a lot of time. Because I do quite a few of these, I made up a tool some time ago to help out in polishing these, and I normally do them in a lathe. You can use a hand drill, as long as you're careful. Just watch out for the bits that are of course spinning around, but this just fits into this tool, so it slides in. And in the lathe I would use the tailstock to align the key so that it spins properly centrally. Slides all the way in, it's properly gripped, then just snug up the screw. This end would be in the lathe chuck, and it will then spin round, but the key will be nicely centered. So I can then use initially abrasive paper to get the chalky surface off, and go down in grade, end up at 3000 grit, and then once that's done I move on to Novus number 2, and that leaves a very nice finish, and I assume it's what the key would have looked like when it was new. And of course it brings up the white text as well, because it's two-part moulding. So you end up with very nice looking keys, and then it's just really a case of reassembling the keyboard. So short video this time, just an update on the progress I'm making. I've now got about another 20 hours or so of work to clean up these keys, and I'll reassemble the keyboard, and then in the next video we will actually get on to the electronics pack.